I feel like when they say, "Are you ready?" I want to say, "Are you ready?"
Are you ready? Good morning, Patriot fam, and happy MAGA Monday.
Guess who surprised me by being in
did.
studio today? It's like I pulled up. I almost didn't put the car in park.
Look,
I was like,
I have been under the weather the last several days.
Mhm.
Ivermectin is a miracle drug. I'm just gonna say that. We won't get kicked off of any streaming platforms for saying that, because that is the truth. And we are going to stand on that. It is actually a miracle drug.
It is.
And so I needed my best friend, my sister here. And so I came in to the office because we just work better together.
We do. And it's been, listen, we have been going through, and I say we collectively, I include you.
Gosh, yes.
Have been going through something since the middle of last week. I was prepared to already kind of go through something because of 9/11 and just, remembering kind of where you were in 2001 and how we got here to where Mandami is like now running for, they're like considering him for a mayoral candidate.
My patriotic senses like want to punch somebody in the face because of that.
I will
not, but just makes me want to.
We might get a punching bag. That would be fun.
That makes the gym worth it. You just throw some weight on it. That's my advice. Throw some weight on it.
So if you seriously, so if we really think about it, and we want to make sure that our viewers understand whatever you've been feeling over the weekend, Friday, you've seen an outpouring from the young people across the country. Allie and I have been a part of different vigils in our communities,
actually,
and it's resonating with people that this is a dark hour. Allie, you said something this morning as you were coming in about how we're framing what's taken place with Charlie Kirk, and people will say it's a political assassination, that he's been martyred. You had a really unique way of looking at it through civil rights. What did you say? Because I think it's really good.
I said Charlie Kirk has been the civil rights leader of our time. He is equivalent to almost every other person in public eye who has been assassinated. JFK, Abraham Lincoln, MLK Jr. So he really has been the tip of the spear in the circle of the youth, right? In a group where the Republican Party and the Democrat Party have not done a very good job of reaching. And to be honest, the church has not done a very good job of reaching. And Charlie Kirk has influenced not just Gen Z, but he's influenced children as young as mine. I mean, my youngest is 7, and she doesn't really quite understand Charlie Kirk, although we've listened to him, and she can look at him and say, "Oh, that's Charlie. Mommy knows Charlie." But my 7th grader, he's 12, just turned 12. He said his teacher changed her entire lesson plan this week to revolve around Charlie Kirk and the things that he has done as far as civil rights goes in his history class. And I'm just really excited about that, because I was at a vigil last night in Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay showed up last night in mass force at Curtis Hickson Park. And there was an 11-year-old that spoke. And she was tearful. She said she looked up to Charlie because of his boldness and how he spoke about the church. There were a lot of people that spoke about how it helped him, listening to him helped them get reaffirmed in their faith, strengthen their faith, turn to faith, and even had a different perspective on what the right was, what MAGA stands for, what America First is. Charlie Kirk was the moderate. Yeah, he really was. And I think everybody can learn something from him. Adults from all the way to 90 years old down to 9. I mean, you could.
Well, and so I was watching, I went to a candlelight vigil over the weekend here on the beach, and shocked to see the turnout, but also shocked to, as I'm interviewing people in the crowd, there's this young 4 or 5-year-old. They said he was in kindergarten, and I'm taking pictures of some of the signs. And this mom goes, "Did you see what my son drew?" And it's literally, it's squiggly because and it says, "I am Charlie," and he was holding it, and I'm just like, this is
it makes you cry.
This is what the enemy meant to destroy. God is going to blow up to be way bigger than we could ever imagine.
It is so big. It is so big.
This
There's this one chick on TikTok who's like, this will not influence anybody. Excuse me, ma'am. There has been vigils popping up all over the world. Sit your little happy behind down. Okay.
Well, and so what a great, you know what?
Great
we
segue.
did not even
we did
roll our
guys,
intro.
I'm just so excited, ready to
So
go.
excited.
All right, you guys. We thank you for joining us on all social media platforms. We appreciate you, especially on Spotify. We love you guys so much. But we are about to open that mic, so stay tuned. Keep it going. Let's go.
Stays on, red hat stays on, red hat stays on, red hat stays on. Taking back our freedom, back to where we started. We're wearing our red hat tonight. It takes more than just a feeling. Oh, better be believing, and America's gonna be home.
What do you do when they try to cancel you? MAGA Nation, we cancel proof. My red hat stays on. My red hat stays on. You know I love God, but in Trump I trust. November 5th, you gon' ride with us. Our red hat stays on. Our red hat stays on. It's the mayor MAGA, the RNC King. 2024, freedom gon' ring. Mr. Red, White, and Blue. I'm still fighting for each one of you. And keep your red hat on.
What do you do when they come for you? Freedom's what you gotta lose. Red hat
Great song there. That is Hadass Levy featuring Forgiato Blow. You can look that up. Red hat stays on. Red hat metaphorically, but red lipstick, ladies. We could always keep that on. Welcome to Open Mic. I'm Michelle Posey. This is the beautiful.
I am Allie Leger. Nice to see you guys.
I'm trying to see you.
So excited.
Allie, can we start off the show with something that we've already talked about many times here? The Smith Month Act.
Yes.
This was, so if you don't know, if you're not familiar what this is, basically somebody thought it was a really good idea back in the day to say, you know what, maybe the media shouldn't be allowed to lie to you and propaganda and put propaganda out on the 11, 7, 10 o'clock news, whatever. Maybe that shouldn't be allowed. And so they came up with the Smith Month Act. It was repealed under the Obama administration. It was 1948 when Congress built the Smith Month Act. So, you know, you go through the Cold War, we go through all these things. Obviously, it's important for you, the people, to kind of get the real information and not have it be bought and paid for by special interests, whether it be overseas or here on this country.
Right.
Barack Obama goes, not so much. Let's just repeal that. He kind of did it as a sleeper. Nobody really knew what was going on. I did have a few people in the military that were like, hey, watch this.
Pump your brakes.
There has been talk of putting this back in to play. We don't want propaganda to be legal in our country. Allie's done call to actions.
Good Lord.
Now they're wanting to call it.
Congressional members have done calls to actions. It's actually been sitting on in the docket for quite some time now. So Speaker Johnson, I'm going to need you to get on it, sir.
But Allie, they're wanting to change it now to the Charlie Kirk Act.
Absolutely.
And I love this. So I didn't realize, and I'm just kind of quoting here a little bit, that part of what the Smith Month Act did, aside from media, was it stopped the infiltration and the co-opting of our universities. How much do foreign adversaries have a play in our universities? You think about how that allowed for the rise of this radical agenda in our universities. It stopped the unions from having a say in what goes on our media. Think of think of the messaging out there and how unions really control it. Politicians and judges could not be involved in the way things are formed.
Sorry, say that again.
So now you have the
Wait,
media.
hang on. Say that one more time. You said colleges, unions, and judges.
And politicians.
And politicians. What has been usurped over the last, 10 years? Colleges, unions, and judges. Guys, it is clear now more than ever that we need to repeal the Smith Month Modernization Act.
And I want to take a listen to Mike Benz, an independent journalist, podcaster, as he's on the Joe Rogan show, and they're discussing this. And I want you guys to take a listen, then we'll talk more about it.
Are you familiar with the Smith Month Act?
Is that the 2011, 2012 thing where Obama allowed people to use propaganda against United States citizens?
Yeah, that was what was done then under Obama was the effective repeal of it. It was called the Smith Modernization Act. But the modernization got rid of the whole purpose of it, the firewall, because at the time the media and media control was seen as the linchpin crux of winning the Cold War, piping in pro-U.S. Media influence because everything moved after World War II from kinetic warfare and military occupation. We used to militarily occupy the Philippines, for example, after we won the Spanish-American War, but that was banned under international law, territorial acquisition by military force in 1948. So we had to win elections, and we had to influence the passage of laws in foreign countries by having an apparatus inside those countries that influenced the hearts and minds of people, which influenced who they voted for, which then determined the government. So you had to move towards political vassalage rather than military occupation. And what the Smith-Mundt Act did is, simultaneous with the creation of this in 1948, Congress recognized the Frankensteinian monster they were creating by authorizing a covert, permanent Department of Dirty Tricks, and this is their phrase, not mine, to do this cloak and dagger, to infiltrate and co-opt the universities, the unions, the media, the politicians, the judges, the whole swarm army. What I have been calling for a long time the USA Truman Show, because it's these people in these foreign countries have no idea how many of the things they interact with that are effectively a movie set being constructed by the U.S. State Department and its sister influence orgs. But the point that I'm getting at here is the Smith-Mundt Act in 1948 said, okay, you guys can do this. State Department can do this. CIA can do this. USAID, when it came along 13 years later, could do this. But so there was a guy named Frank Wisner, who was known as one of the godfather figures of the CIA. He's known for creating what was called the Wisner's Wurlitzer, which was it's like a church organ, and that he would brag that he could play the international media like a symphony to make any media narrative go viral. And
It's a 4 and 5 minute if you guys get a chance to watch it. But
Yeah,
basically he's
really
saying that with the creation of the Smith-Mundt Act, they knew that they were, whether you like it or not, our government was involved with shaping the opinion of foreign nations, because we did not want to go in militarily, could not go in militarily and occupy. So we wanted to change. This is what Flynn has already told us. We wanted to change the opinion.
5G warfare.
Yeah, exactly.
And
And
the book.
but they were smart enough to say, but wait a minute, we don't want this in our country. Well, what did Barack Obama set the stage for, and how early did he know it? And Allie, there is some breaking news I'll let you share.
I mean, first
Yeah.
of all, the man talking about Barack Obama, the man was caught in a photograph reading a book called The Post-American, what was it? The Post-American, it's Post-American something. It craziness, right? Like, just absolutely insane. Obviously, I'm sure a lot of that was in that book. I need to actually go find it, read it. But it also revolves around communism, like the laws of communism, the 47 rules of communism.
Right.
That has been submitted into the congressional record. Yeah. Thank you.
You're
My
welcome.
brain can't words this
okay.
morning. But so breaking news via Fox News. Director Kash Patel has been on Fox News this morning, and he says that Charlie Kirk's assassin, Tyler Robinson's Discord group included more than 20 members. He confirms authorities are aggressively investigating, and many of these co-conspirators will be questioned. He says, quote, going back to the group chats real quick, there's more than 20 individuals. We, the FBI, are running the investigation point on Discord group chat. These are scores of individuals that are going to be spoken to. So, good job with thorough investigation.
And Discord is one of those chat features that, I mean, there's some shady stuff happening in Discord. Think about the word Discord.
Right.
You want to sow discourse. It's very weird.
Yeah.
But there were reports yesterday, and I'm going to say this is something that is alleged, because today I did not see it naturally confirmed. It's not like big news organizations are picking it up, but that they're going to trace back the finances of how many people knew, and we'll get to that. We'll see where those tentacles go. But let's focus on what is taking place and what took place over the weekend. These huge rallies, we had a local guy go to London for this one. Take a look. I know it doesn't have any sound, so we can talk over it, but look at what took place in London.
Right?
In London, where listen, there are places where you don't have the right to assemble and have free speech, but they knew they weren't going to arrest 1 million people.
I mean, you can't arrest 1 million people.
So this is what took place. This sort of, we are, if you will, we are Charlie Kirk. This is an aerial shot, helicopter shot. The Guardian media reported there's about 100,000 there. It was well over that. So there you go with the fake news media. I do want to push along. If you're not familiar with Tommy Robinson, Tommy Robinson is somebody that, well, he's a lot like you and I. He's got an independent news organization over there. This is catching flames. He's the head of Urban Speaks. Listen to what he had to say, and then we'll talk about it.
Charlie, Charlie, Charlie. When you hear people talk about the special relationship between America and Great Britain, this is the special relationship that you're seeing here. It's not between our governments. Does anyone think David Lammy or Keir Starmer have got a special relationship with America? They hate America. They hate everything it represents. They hate freedom. Keir Starmer dared to make a Twitter post about the murder of Charlie Kirk. If Charlie Kirk lived in this country, he'd have been imprisoned for some of the things he said. So today, as well, there's only one country in the world and one government that's fighting for all of our free speech. It's not our government. It's certainly not the European Union. It's the Republican Party in the United States. It's J.D. Vance. It's Donald Trump. Donald Trump may not have been elected if it wasn't for Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk's legacy to us in Great Britain is the only reason we have hope, that we have a fight, that we're still in the fight, and that we have an opportunity to regain our free speech. It's because of the legacy left by Charlie Kirk.
Right now, listening to this rally, I want President Trump, please hear me, and those that are on the America 250 coalition committee, whatever that is. I want you to hear me. There needs to be a Charlie Kirk section of America 250. Why? Because if I just got the chills. If our founding fathers did not stand up and our founding mothers did not stand up to fight against an overreaching king in Britain, in England, there would not be an America. There would not be a Charlie Kirk. There would not be a President Trump. I mean, maybe, possibly.
Yeah.
They would have rose up, right? Eventually, I think.
Well,
but because of what we've done almost 250 years ago, we have what we have now. And what this person is saying at this rally needs to resonate with all of Americans because, again, liberty is not free. It requires a very significant level of sacrifice, your money, your time, your life, and sometimes all three. And that was Charlie Kirk. He gave his money, he gave his time, and unfortunately, I don't want to say fortunately, but he did. He gave his life. He knew what he was going into, just like our founding fathers did.
Well, sorry, I don't want to.
No, it's okay. I just wanted to say, like this, the time is right now. Like this is so important for us to understand. If there is no one coming to save us, but us, right? We the people, and we are the beacon of hope for nations across the world.
That's proof of it right there. And I was listening to one of the pastors that I know.
There should be a America 250.
Yeah, that Charlie Kirk leaned on heavily, Jack Hibbs. And one of the things he said, and I love how the way he put it in church from the pulpit, said, Charlie Kirk, really, if you dialed it back 250 years, those founding fathers would have been high-fiving him for what he was doing.
Absolutely.
When you look through the lens of how young our founding fathers were, you look at Alexander Hamilton, this is America. People are looking at what Charlie Kirk did like it was amazing and it was bold, but it should have been that way all along. I think it took a Charlie Kirk to remind us that is a part of the founding of this experiment we call a constitutional republic, is that we are supposed to do what he did. And I keep saying, Allie, he not only worked obviously against the woke left mentality, but he was not warmly embraced by the Republican Party establishment either. It took somebody like the Trump family to really say, we believe in what you're doing. And Charlie didn't let that deter him. to his credit. So when we get tied up in thinking the party doesn't, I'm not anointed by the party, that shouldn't matter.
And then when
it shouldn't stop you.
When you think of Anna Paulina Luna and how she literally is in office because of Charlie Kirk, that is an incredible feat. Not because of the Republican Party, the Republican establishment, the ones that run the things, right?
Yeah.
The leadership. It was because of one man and his vision and his momentum and his just gumption for her, his belief in her, and all of the resources he put behind her. I mean, I was behind her. I met her before when she ran the first time, and I was there for her when she was threatened by certain people that were running against her, literally threatening her life. It was insane, and she holds a very special place in my heart as well. So it just, I mean, this is just.
Well, and I want to discuss how they, at the Kennedy Center, they did have a vigil for Charlie Kirk. We're going to bring you just a little bit from inside there as well as outside. Now, this is, we're going to watch a quick interview that they did with Leon for Congress. Is Leon Benjamin. He's actually running for Virginia's 4th congressional district. They caught up with him and his wife outside. Let's take a quick listen.
What does this mean to you, brother?
It means everything. Love is the greatest force. And so this means love. This means not hate, not anger, not vitriol, not vengeance, pure love. And everyone showing up, showing their love. That's what this means today. We can't go back to hatred. We can't go back to that. That solves nothing. We got to be free. And we got to walk in this freedom. And the highest freedom, the Bible says, is love. And that's how we love our brother. Love.
Give your life.
Yeah, love. No greater love than this, than a man lay down his life for his friends. It's the greatest love. And that's what Charlie did. I mean, I know he.
Yeah, that's exactly what Charlie did. And honestly, he did it in boldness. He didn't have to call someone names in order to point out truth. And I was watching one of the interactions he had on college campus over the weekend, and the person had asked him something about, being a believer, and he did not mind sitting. Think about being surrounded by thousands of people and sitting there and knowing that you're about to give an answer that the entire crowd sometimes is going to erupt in boos, or that things are going to get thrown at you. And you just sit there and you double down and you sit there and you go, you know what? And then somebody's coming for your religion, right? And they're going to talk about your faith. And he always stood 10 toes down. And he could have been, and if I would have sat in that seat, this is why it's better he do it, because there could have been some back and forth, but he was much better than most of us in that.
Had the patience
of a saint.
I was going to say a Jedi, but yeah.
Jedi.
Well, patience of a saint.
I'm
so serious. Like, he had the patience. Like, he had this incredible just amount of patience that I struggle to find a lot of times.
Yeah.
I mean, it is very difficult. And I remember that feeling when you walk into, quote unquote, the Lion's Den, a place where you are not welcome. The energy you can feel,
like people start hissing around you.
It's like so literally thick. It is literally thick. The atmosphere is so thick. And you just get this feeling in your system, and you're just like, I don't want to be here. And I can understand that. But Charlie never wavered.
He never wavered.
Never wavered. He was an incredible man.
Let's take a listen to RFK Jr. as he was speaking inside the vigil. Let's take a listen.
And I had a conversation once with Charlie where we were talking about the danger that we both faced from challenging entrenched interests. And he asked me if I was scared to die. And I said to him, there's a lot worse things than dying. And one of those... The chief among those is losing our constitutional rights and having our children raised in slavery. And I said to him at that time, I said, sometimes our only consolation is that we can die with our boots on. We can die fighting for these things.
in my
Yeah,
soul. So
absolutely.
I'm going to tell you guys, one of the hardest things I have ever had to do was salute a sister at arms. I wasn't able to be a pallbearer because we had a motorcycle charity do that. But that was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do in my life, was to salute a sister at arms. She was literally like my sister. And when she passed, it was so hard. And when you are in uniform, or you take this oath, and you know this oath doesn't die, it doesn't die with anybody.
Yeah.
And it's almost like you feel like you're leaving them behind, even though it's not, but that's how you feel. And so having to salute her with no emotion was so difficult. So difficult as we laid her to rest. Watching Charlie's casket come off of
JD
Air
Vance.
Force Two.
There you have a future president literally carrying a future president, because he would have been president.
I was not okay. Like, I'm just gonna let you know, I was not okay. I had flashbacks of being at my sister at arms, her funeral, and that was just the worst feeling. It is just.
There's video out there of obviously as they're examining KIRK, of Erica having to say kind of goodbye to him at the casket. It's gut wrenching, guys.
I'm glad that she put that video out there. I know a lot of people were kind of criticizing it, but you have to understand the first images we had of him was of him being shot.
Yeah.
And so for her to come out and share that intimate moment of her saying goodbye to her soulmate, essentially, was a better lasting image of who Charlie Kirk is.
Absolutely.
So,
and seeing him, it's the last time we're going to see him. So
right.
In that respect. So I want to fast forward, if we could, in the booth here, to Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt. She is speaking at the Kennedy Center vigil for Charlie Kirk. But this little soundbite says a lot about what Charlie worked through, not just opposing the left, but even someone on the right. Here, take a listen.
Most played it safe and stuck to the business as usual approach of the establishment Republican Party that no longer exists. Charlie looked for the outsiders, the up-and-coming truth tellers with new ideas who weren't afraid to challenge the status.
And what I love about that is that is part of what why people have trusted Trump and elected him, and Charlie Kirk understood it better than anybody. I might push back a little bit.
We do disagree. We do think that the establishment is still not thriving, but they are.
But
still
they're there, and we have to
around.
understand that the establishment on the Republican side they're great chameleons. They try to blend in whatever's hot, whatever's culturally okay, because they seek to survive in these times. But we're not going to let that stand in the way from the fact that our press secretary just said, establishment.
She called them out,
and they erupted in applause. So it just goes to tell you how the tides are changing. I think the clock is running out on those who seek to hold on to power just for the sake of being powerful. And Allie, we are like slammed with stuff. I want to make sure we get our Liberty cigars commercial out, guys. We're going to be right back after this short break, so don't go anywhere. More open mic after this message.
From the heart of Marietta, Georgia, comes a tribute to the spirit of liberty. Liberty Cigars, where history meets craftsmanship. Each cigar tells a story. The Founders Collection honors the visionaries who shaped a nation. The President's House Collection celebrates the leaders who steered it. And the Naval Series salutes the heroes who defended it. Handcrafted with precision, each blend mirrors the essence of its namesake. From the boldness of George Washington to the elegance of Thomas Jefferson. Indulge in a moment of reflection. Light a Liberty cigar and savor the legacy. Discover your story at libertycigars.com, because every great nation deserves a great cigar. Liberty Cigars, smoke the history. And don't forget to use promo code OpenMic for 10% off your order.
Gold IRA companies are a dime a dozen, especially in conservative media. We vetted out 34 companies and chose Augusta Precious Metals.
With the lowest across-the-board spreads in the gold IRA industry, Augusta saves Americans thousands of dollars.
They are the only major gold IRA company that has zero complaints from their customers. Zero. None. Augusta Precious Metals does not have commissioned sales reps, which means their goals are aligned with yours.
They were the only gold IRA company that demonstrated integrity and transparency without using gimmicks.
The informative one-on-one web conferences by Augusta Precious Metals answer all of their customers' questions before they make a move.
If you're ready to learn about protecting your wealth and retirement with gold and silver, request your free gold guide from Augusta Precious Metals today.
Visit patriot.tv/gold. That's patriot.tv/gold today.
Stays on, redhead stays on, redhead stays on, redhead stays on.
Welcome back to Open Mic with Allie and Michelle. We're dancing before the music comes on. Are we hearing things in our head?
It was
And we share a brain, so it's like, oh my God.
Redhead stays on. I can't. I love it.
If you're not dancing somewhere, like when you hear that song, we've even had those in our ear in our production booth. They're like, we're all jamming when that comes on, and then it gets in your head, and then you can't lose it all day.
It's an earworm.
So good news, Allie. After you're done watching Open Mic here at 11 o'clock Eastern, grab yourself a quick snack, and then at 12 o'clock Eastern, our vice president is going to be hosting the Charlie Kirk show
How
today.
incredible is that? I mean, that is like unheard of. A vice president. Wow. It's like everybody has podcasts nowadays, but look at that setup. My gosh.
You know what? And why doesn't everybody have a podcast these days? Tell me that you wouldn't tune in to a JD Vance podcast or a Trump podcast. You get direct messaging.
Direct messaging. Nobody has done this before. This
Paula's
is why-
help you
yes,
set it
I'm
up.
saying. And Moms for America has interviewed JD Vance and President Trump before, and so they're phenomenal speakers. And I'm really excited to hear what this is going to be.
The
like
only
today.
thing is I would have loved to have seen this in Charlie's studio. Obviously, that's out in Arizona. But what's cool is that every time they have broadcast from the Charlie Kirk studio at Turning Point's headquarters, his chair is empty.
It's very weird.
And it's really cute because he would have like these little toys. Because when you're recording and like there's kids in the family, like they do come up and you don't see it and you're like, handing them.
My daughter does it all the time.
Yes.
She gives me little index cards. I love you, Mom.
It's very cute.
We have me pictures, and it's like the cutest.
So that would have been cool to see him like in the actual studio. But 12 o'clock, we're going to get a full hour of JD Vance. I can't wait to see it.
I hope you're excited. I'm a watch. Are you watching?
I'm watching.
We're watching.
We're watching.
You better be watching.
I'll be watching like over here while we're in a meeting.
I know.
But
Look at it.
so
Can we cancel our
if people that have a lunch meeting are a little bit distracted, don't give them grace. Give them grace. It's because JD Vance is going to be broadcasting.
It's like hosting a podcast, first ever. Like this is like
it's crazy. This is another thing that's making history really is, and I think this is why I allude to your comment about Charlie Kirk really being more of a civil rights leader for what he's done. There is a resolution now on the floor that had been filed by Nancy Mace to allow Charlie Kirk to lie in state in the U.S. Capitol Rotunda. Take a look at this. This is a reporting. So he will be lying, and very few people deserve this. Very few people allow for this to happen. But I think it's important that we make this resolution that, Allie, I don't care what side of the aisle you sit on, this is something that should be, everybody should be grieving this part of, when somebody speaks up and is assassinated and martyred for their beliefs. I mean, this is exactly what the left always talks about, having a little bit of inclusion and a little bit of thick skin. So excited to see this happening, that they're honoring Charlie in this way. It's going to be hard to watch. What are we doing later in the week?
We should go.
Should we go? Should we take it on the road?
Yeah, we should.
It wouldn't be the first time we've driven straight through to DC. Just
we
saying.
should go. If this happens, when this happens, I'm speaking it out into existence.
Yeah.
Lord, you will make this happen. I want to go. I want to go
road trip, open mic. And you know what? If we have to broadcast from the road, it wouldn't be the first time that we've done that.
We've done that.
The sad thing that we're noticing, Allie, and I hate to even have to talk about this, but not everybody is of sound mind like you and I that think that the death of a father and a husband and a leader, no matter what side of the aisle they sat on should be a tragedy, but not everybody feels that way, guys. Take a look at this quick snapshot. After Charlie Kirk, this is on the Sky app, which I didn't even know about until after this. These people are asking all of these are just a little snippet of the messages on the Sky app of people asking who's going to be the next person targeted. There are calls in this chat, in this snippet here for J.K. Rowling. That's, I mean, she's from Harry Potter, like the writer, Matt Walsh, Trump, Ben Shapiro, libs of TikTok, Elon Musk.
Vance was one of them. Yeah, libs of TikTok is another. It just gays against groomers. Like it's just wild. Like
wild.
For what? You guys are the ones that are saying words are killing people, right?
Literally, your rhetoric is what's killing people, and the hands that you employ these to carry out your dirty work, and they're going to follow. I guess we're going to go ahead and jump into it. The next part of it. There's an investigation going on right now, as you alluded to in the early parts of the show, as to who knew what. Take a look at this. Who knew what? Well, multiple Democrat militia trans men in the area posted on September 9th, the day before Charlie Kirk visited this Utah college campus, that, quote, something big will be happening to Charlie Kirk tomorrow. They're saying that it not only was this a hit with full support of several militant left groups, and I'm just going to say this here allegedly, because again, nobody has come out on a major news network and said this, but mark my word, allegedly the ties to the funding go all the way to leftist community organizer Alex Soros, the son of George Soros. So this is what happens when you, and I'm quoting like a really leftist leaning school board member here in our county, when you build coalitions to work from the inside that fly under the radar.
Wow.
This is a militant organization that was put together. And a lot of times you wonder where these guys, where do they get the machinery to do what they're doing? Where do they get the ideology? I mean, this guy allegedly came from a great family that was very loving of country with, who cares if you're Republican or Democrat?
He was indoctrinated.
Absolutely.
This is equivalent to brainwashing a terrorist. That's actually, it's not even equivalent. This is what
exactly
it is.
What it is. Yep.
This is an ideology that has captured the mind of someone who grew up in a family who was completely opposite of what this ideology was. And they've captured this mind, or the minds of those that align with this, to create a militant group. This is what we saw with the Taliban.
And can you now see why dialing back the Smith-Mundt Act was so important? Because again, as you heard talked about earlier on in the show, what that Smith-Mundt Act allowed to happen was for us as a government and military to go into other countries. And since we can't occupy with military, to occupy in their media, what goes on in their schools, what they're allowed to see. They propagandized all the people in other countries that we didn't see eye to eye with.
Right.
Why wouldn't they bring it to this country? And that's exactly what Barack Obama allowed to happen with the actions that took place of what he did by dialing back the Smith-Mundt Act. That's why they're calling this now the Charlie Kirk Act, to be able to put this back together, because this crap can't happen, or at least you have a way to hold them accountable. This is going to,
do you now understand why it was important for us to move away from the indoctrination that was going on in our schools, right?
God, Allie, yes.
From all the way down to kindergarten and preschool, all the way down to preschool, they were trying to teach our children about this trans ideology to warp their reality in a way that eventually would turn them into something like this, a trans militant, which is wild to me, because that is what that's where this all goes. We wanted to get rid of the DEI. We wanted to get rid of the social emotional learning. We wanted to get rid of all of the Marxist, socialist ideology in our schools, because it's antithetical to everything American. If we do not have open debate, and we cannot have free expression of thought,
absolutely,
out in person without fear of being murdered or maimed or beaten up or whatever it is, accosted.
Yes.
That is not American. That is not what we were founded on. If you don't know what we were founded on, then you can't
love it enough to protect it.
And protect it. Exactly.
Well, and a lot of people that I've talked to over the weekend that are kind of examining now what we're finding out about the shooter, is that this is very disheartening because a lot of parents have brought their children up, train their child up the way they should go. So when they're older, they don't turn from
And
it.
then they go to college.
And then they go to college. But listen, you're told go get an education so that you can get a good job, which was another part of Charlie Kirk's message.
He was
not
dropped out.
necessarily, and not necessarily do you need a college degree. He said it was it was a scam because they're forcing you to take these DEI courses, and then your child, young adult, which let's face it, they're very impressionable at this age. They're easily radicalized, and don't think for a minute that those in the government and those in the military don't know this and understand this. They've done it in other countries. Barack Obama allowed them to do it in this country. That was 6 years ago, about enough time for a 12-year-old or a 16-year-old to now be of age to have a weapon and to be able to carry this out. This is something that has taken place over time. What I will say, and nobody's really saying this a lot publicly, is that the story is that his dad, who's a 27-year sheriff, really spotted the similarities between the shots the pictures that were being shared and his son, and went to where his son was living, which we now know he had a male partner who was
transitioning to a woman.
So whatever. So, but the dad was like, "Is this you?" And I think that story is going to be something that we need to pay attention to, because you know what's going on with your children. You can feel it. And I think we're going to have that tough moment where you realize, I don't know how this happened, but my child is not believing things that are right. I mean, and try to intervene, right? See something, say something. It's very difficult at this age because they're young adults and they do live independently of you.
Tried to give them the space to find themselves.
Yeah.
Because eventually they do find themselves, but it's difficult when there has been an indoctrination. Indoctrination in a form of brainwashing is very difficult to come out of. It's like being in a narcissistic, abusive relationship for years and years and years on end. It's hard for you to rewire your brain to function in a way that is most beneficial to who you are as an individual, as a person of God. And so when you're indoctrinated in that way, it's very difficult to come out of. You have to reformulate that. And we had a mom who was on here, Taryn Swain, who literally said that she literally saw her daughter delivered from this indoctrination. It is very different than anything that America has ever seen.
And thank God for the churches and those church leaders that are now brave enough to say, as we've seen ripple across the country this past Sunday, to say that, this is a demonic oppression. There is a demon. Listen, you can't call this thing evil. I mean, what makes the murder of Charlie Kirk so bad? How do you determine morality? Because you understand that it's wrong.
Right.
And if you understand right and wrong, you understand good and evil. And if you understand good and evil, you understand what perpetuates evil. And Satan comes to steal, kill, and destroy. And this is an example of Satan's handiwork. So there is a demon spiritual realm that is trying to wage war for the young hearts and minds of our children. I just want to put this out there, and you can like it, you cannot like it. I really don't care at this point, but there seems to be a pattern.
There is a pattern.
Uvalde shooter.
Trans.
Denver shooter.
Trans.
Georgia shooter.
Trans.
Nashville shooter.
Trans.
Colorado shooter.
Trans.
Aberdeen, which we didn't hear much about that.
No.
That shooter.
Trans.
Minnesota shooter.
Trans.
Okay, now we've got two, the Iowa shooter and the Philadelphia shooter, that were kind of trans or gender fluid. So when are we going to have the real discussion that David Pollock, right here on our show, that we have a trans cult that is being weaponized and they're being
a terrorist organization.
Thank you.
That is what it is. And I know that our FBI has come out and said that they were thinking about designating that as this group as this, because no one else is taking up arms and shooting people.
Yeah, don't tell me that my rhetoric is dangerous, that my Trump and MAGA
Ilhan Omar.
Don't tell me that that's dangerous. We are not the ones shooting. And as a matter of fact, if you take a look at the burning and destruction that took place in the summer of love after George Floyd after he died, you look at the summer of love and how the left not only ravaged our neighborhoods, our Black-owned businesses, way to go, Black Lives Matter, burnt Minneapolis, chased police out of their own sanctuary for their police force. If you look at the way the left responded,
killed people,
and then you look at how people are responding to the death and martyr and assassination of Charlie Kirk. Very different. Don't tell me about thoughts and prayers, because thoughts and prayers have a lot of impact, and that's how we choose to engage. We're not burning Black-owned businesses down the block and raiding stores.
And when you literally call someone the equivalent to Hitler, who is responsible for killing millions of people, If you think that that is not going to ignite something in someone who has been brainwashed, it's not like they killed him for free speech. Essentially, they killed him because they thought they were hunting a Nazi.
They believed it.
They truly within them, that's what they believed.
I'm telling you,
that is insane.
Allie,
to
you
me.
take this young age group, anywhere from 16 to 26. This is, look back at the movements that happened in the 60s, right? And we call it the hippie era. Really, these were young people that really were motivated to do something that they felt they believed in. They had no plan to really follow it through, thank God. But a lot of that, it could have been used for good. This young generation during that time frame is very easily brainwashed.
Yes.
And they're already pulling at the strings of like kind of turning you against your parents, you against your family. We saw this with different color revolutions.
Guys, this is how Mao was able to, he killed more people than Hitler did because of the way he went about it.
He got young people to turn in their families.
And this is why it is so important that we repeal the Smith-Mundt Act, because this is how they're getting to our children. They're using social media. They're using all avenues to get at your children when you are not paying attention. Why? Because we are so inundated as parents and as just adults doing all the things, trying to make sure that our heads stay above water, especially when you have a president who literally opened the floodgates and allowed terrorists to cross our nation freely, willingly, without, any kind of repercussion. And that is what happens. And then you have the weaponized DOJ, and then you have the weaponized media, and then you have weaponized leftist Democrats who claim that they care about the democracy. But who is really at risk? President Trump and MAGA have not killed anybody. No one. Not a person. But guess who has? Those who claim that we have.
I actually spoke with someone at one of the vigils, and this is what I love, is that there was somebody there that we didn't see eye to eye with some things, but, was talking about gun control and how, how did this person get the gun? And I said, okay, so if you want to take the gun because you're blaming the gun, then explain to me what took place in Charlotte with the staff
on the train.
Are you taking the knives too? And they were like, well, maybe we should. I said, okay, so what's going to happen with cars? Are you going to take those? Because people have run people down in the streets on cars. At what point are you going to ask for hands?
Right.
Because like
you're going to chop everybody's hands off.
And you have to understand. So what drives somebody to murder somebody? We have to have this discussion of morality, because you can't just tell me something is good and something is bad if I don't know what compass you judge that on. And that's where faith comes in. Yes. What is your compass? Because what's right and wrong and what's good and bad can differ any day based on the mood that you wake up in.
Which
We've
is
got
why
to have
so
a moral
focused
compass
on your feelings.
And really,
not about your thoughts.
And really, legislation and laws is just the grounding of morality in writing.
But you can't legislate morality. We've seen
it's a hard issue.
You can't. It's a hard issue.
Yeah.
It's like you can't legislate good parents, and you can't legislate morality. And it doesn't matter what laws are in place. Good citizens follow laws. People that want to murder someone will find a way to murder someone.
Absolutely.
You can literally murder somebody by putting them in a chokehold. Okay.
You can murder somebody by being the head of the NIH and concocting a virus that's really just a bioweapon that's gain of function research. And
what she said,
you can walk away from your job with full retirement. Who am I talking about? Frankenstein Fauci. But take a quick look at this breaking news. Like that segue? The newly released emails. Guys, be careful what you put down in writing. This is crazy. The new emails released show Dr. Fauci instructed his colleagues to delete his message after reading them. This reminds me of Mission Impossible.
I went to a cheating spouse. I'm like,
wait a minute.
What?
No, we can go on both sides of this death. Let me just
say. What? Delete. If you got your chat on delete
or silence notifications, I'm on to you.
Listen, what are you? They boo. I'm just saying. Okay, what are Fauci telling their colleagues to delete emails? Guys, I'm not even. Continue.
But part of what the I'm sorry, you got on this. You got on relationships. We're gonna have another show for that, because we got lots of opinions on that. Just saying. Part of this email that I don't know if I can put up on the screen, but part of the email asks, listen, You know, and when I'm looking, this is Fauci saying, when I'm looking at like metropolitan New York and I'm looking at Miami, these numbers aren't. There's not enough death. Maybe so we need to like fudge the numbers a little bit.
Wow.
Spin the numbers, guys. Spin the numbers. If you realize, if I told you Miami, if I told you that the death rate in Miami based on the population was 0.0018. That's not even half, like 0.5% of the population. That's not even a tenth of the population.
But we had people arrested on beaches here in Florida.
You masked your kids, put a shot in your arm, and allowed your loved ones to die alone for something that has a death rate in a big metropolis like Miami. So we're talking all ages, all genders, all ethnicities, of less than 0.002%. So you had a 99.8% chance of survival. And you want to talk about brainwashing? You want to talk about herd mentality? And let's not forget the people on the left largely said things to me like, if you get this disease, you deserve to die because you won't put on a mask. Ask me again how Hitler got people to march others into concentration camps.
Or you're refused medical care because you refuse to mask and vaccinate. Literally.
We better be reflecting on a lot of things during this day.
The moms were right. That's all I'm going to say. The moms are right. The ones who were Maha before there was a Maha, who have been working with RFK Jr. for 10, 12, 15, 20 years, we were right.
I went to a school board meeting and I was like, tell me, they had somebody from the local health department official there. I said, you have got to explain to me. I don't understand how a virus knows to only travel 5 point whatever feet.
Right.
And at 6 feet, it like evaporates and it doesn't. And that's why, where did 6 feet of separation come? And he was like, well, I don't know. And I'm like, that's the most unscientific BS I've ever heard. But but people are nodding their head like, don't come near me. You have people that followed arrows in the grocery store to know which, like one-way traffic. Like if I got to go get the milk, I'm not going around like 3 other aisles. I'm marching towards the milk. But people did it. People would come up to me and tag, like, because I would wear the mask and drop it below my chin. Trying to tug on it. It's like herd mentality. We've got to have some serious conversations. Allie, I want to get to this discussion because we're running out of time. This is between Tucker Carlson.
Tucker tour. I loved our Tucker tour. We're also, Moms for America is going on tour with Megyn Kelly, so that's great. But we had a Tucker tour, and this was a fantastic.
So Charlie, this is an interaction between Charlie Kirk and Tucker Carlson. I think we can all learn something from it. So take a quick listen.
I wonder if by continuing to lie, they aren't about everything. They're driving all of us a little crazy.
Well, this is why your faith is the most important thing. Because for those of us that are Christians, it doesn't drive you crazy. You actually see what's going on, which is that we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities and darkness and spirits, that there's a spiritual war here. And you're right, Tucker. I find people in this space that are not anchored to faith, anchored to Jesus, they do lose their mind. Because there is no rational or reasonable explanation for what the country is doing to itself or what we are experiencing. But if you then see and you know that there is a God and we are not him, that there is an entire dimension of angels and demons and spirits that are constantly struggling around us, and that there is a supernatural dimension, as you mentioned, all of a sudden, that does then make sense. It does not make any rational sense to shut down your schools so you could sacrifice the kids so the elderly can live. That makes no sense whatsoever. It makes no sense whatsoever to keep your marijuana dispensaries open and your alcohol shops open, but the church non-essential. Only a demonic enterprise would do such a thing. Only a demonic enterprise would say that Easter and Pentecost.
And that is the discussion that I think we need to push forward unapologetically. Listen, faith and your beliefs are never forced. We live in a country where you're not forced to believe in any one religion. You can choose to be agnostic. You can choose to be atheist if that's what you want to do. But the discussion needs to happen for those of us who know beyond a shadow of a doubt that Jesus lives, that he was resurrected, and that the Holy Spirit's here to comfort us, but that we are engaged in a spiritual battle. I one time had somebody explain it to me like this. If you could put sunglasses on and see in the spiritual realm, what you would see is this person over here who appears tormented and the demon assigned for that task. You can see over here where somebody has sent angels to charge over somebody and protect them, and you can see that.
Actually see that.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. That's why the discussion needs to happen about why are you mourning the death of Charlie Kirk? Why do you feel like this is such a loss? Where does that come from?
Part of this, that we're all a part of the same family.
And there's a morality that says that you shouldn't take life like this. You shouldn't take the life of somebody young who was just practicing their First Amendment. And that needs to drive me and you to have the conversation. Why do you believe that? Because it's wrong. Why do you believe that's wrong? Because we all, as humans, we were built, we were created by God to have a moral compass inside of us, and we can't pretend it's not there anymore, and we certainly can't go silent.
Correct.
Ooh, Allie. Oh, we only got 30 seconds left. We need another hour.
I know.
I had somebody tell us, well, you could go on StreamYard for another hour, and I was like, don't tempt me.
Listen, don't. That's one thing you don't do is tempt these two women. Tell us what we can't do and watch us do it 10 times better than what you thought we were going to do it. Oh my gosh, guys. So I kind of want to leave you all with this. Yes. If you don't know how to get involved. So Charlie Kirk was a man of action. I said this in my speech last night.
Yes.
Charlie Kirk was a man of action. If you don't know how to get involved, go to tpusa.com, find a chapter, start a chapter. If you don't have one in your high school, start one. If you don't have one in your college, start one. If you don't have one in your area, start one. Okay. Turning Point USA.
Yep.
Start one.
Yep.
Also donate to his family. That is also important. Okay. But what is most important, I think, is to exercise your constitutionally protected rights.
Yeah.
Be bold and courageous in your voice. Speak. You have a voice. Speak. And pray for your brothers and sisters. Pray for Charlie's family. And also, we would like for you to call Speaker Mike Johnson.
Hey,
and ask
Mike
him
Johnson.
And tell him, encourage him to do the right thing and put the repeal of the Smith-Mundt Act on the floor for a vote to pass. But we could also change it.
We want to change the Charlie Kirk Act. And I would like to go one step further and say, in your local jurisdictions, your local district, I encourage you to enact a resolution, a Charlie Kirk resolution. If you're not sure what that means, stay tuned. I'll have more information on that. We've got some local school boards that are trying to do that. You can go as a community member and present it to your school board and say, listen, we want to make sure that this story is told and that we don't allow this extremism in our schools.
Well, the phone number for
Yes.
the phone number for Speaker Mike Johnson is 202-225-2777.
One more time.
202-225-2777. Call him and tell him that this needs to happen.
Absolutely,
the
guys.
repeal of the Smith-Mundt.
That's it for us here on Open Mic for this wonderful Mega Monday. Guys, if you're not already, follow at Real Allie Leger, at Michelle Posey.
And Open Mic Ladies.
Open Mic Ladies on all platforms. Make sure you get your Liberty cigars for any celebrations that might be coming down the pike. And
Who knows? There might be a Charlie Kirk cigar.
Might be.
All right, you guys.
That's it for us. We'll catch you next time.
Tomorrow. Bye.
Is high, inflation's up in the sky. Red hat stays on, red hat stays on. And I don't care how they look at me in the deepest heart of a blue city. Red hat stays on, red hat stays on. And I know when you smile, you like what you see. If you love America, you'll agree. Red hat stays on, red hat stays on.